Hey guys, what is going on? It's Old Man Sniper 54 here. I hope you are having a good day. And today we're just playing some Modern Warfare 2019. We're doing domination on shipment, as you can see, and we're trying to get the mounted kills on the AN-94 here. It has the hyper burst at the start, so the first two bullets come out of the gun really, really fast. But I wanted to talk about something interesting today, about the whole Jeffrey Epstein shit. Just Oh goodness, they're coming hard. That's kind of wild how they can just spawn in front of you on this map. But you know, what I wanted to talk about is the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. And how I don't really think we'll ever know, like, the people that did all those horrible things, like all the billionaires and stuff, you know, all the stuff you hear in the news. I was just watching the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, and Kash Patel's on, and he's talking about, you know, Jeffrey Epstein with him, and how Kash Patel thinks that he killed himself. And he said that, you know, he's looked through the tapes, and he hasn't seen anything in the tapes to indicate whether, like, someone went in and killed him. But the thing is, like, when that was going on in the media, like, everyone, like, all the media outlets were saying that the video got erased and it got deleted and it's just gone and it's not coming back. But then all of a sudden he's just talking about how there's this video of the night that Jeffrey Epstein died, and there's no, like, video evidence of anyone going into the cell that he was being held in, which, if, like, that just doesn't make any sense, because all, like, everyone, you know, when that was happening, that was like, I don't even know what to compare that to, man. That was just like something else. Like, everyone was trying to figure out what was going on. Like, people, you know, people wanted justice for all these women that got, you know, these girls that got taken advantage of, you know, these underage girls, unfortunately, you know, because they're fucking, there's evil people in the world, and there's definitely some of those people that were friends with Jeffrey Epstein. That's for damn sure. But, so we've got conflicting things about the video evidence of, you know, the night that Jeffrey Epstein died, but, you know, nothing is coming out about it, basically, because he's like, there was, you know, nothing there in the video, you know, no one went in, it was just a boring night. And then, you know, Joe Rogan's he's talking to him about, like, the island and stuff, like, saying if, like, you know, those tapes are gonna get, you know, put out, and he's gonna be like, you know, just trying to get Kash Patel into, you know, saying that he at least has information on some people, or he at least knows who did it, right? That's what Joe's basically trying to do, the whole conversation, the whole time this is going on, basically. And Kash Patel just, like, is not answering the questions. And he's saying things like, oh, nice triple there. Goodness. But he's just saying things along the lines of, like, we will give the public what we can, and, you know, we'll do the best we can. We're reviewing the footage. Like, it's been going on for 5 years. Like, how much footage are you reviewing? Like, come on now. He died in, like, what, 2020, 2019? So really, there's like 6 years of the time between now and then. So, like, how have you not reviewed all of the footage yet? It just doesn't make any sense. That's dumb. There's like there's tens of thousands of people that work in the United States government, and the FBI alone, I'm sure. But you're telling me that, like, you guys, like, 6 years wasn't enough time to review all of the footage? Like, you got, like, that's just absurd. Come on now. Let's be honest. And the other thing is, what do you mean, like, you'll release what you can? Because, you know, as far as I know, no one's, like, trying to block this shit. So if there is someone, why don't you bring that up and you say, hey, we're getting, you know, blocked by this person or this entity, or, you know, this apparatus? Because in politics, like, they always bitch and complain about each other, and they'll say how, like, you know, things can't get done because of this party. But it's not being said here. They're not saying that, like, anyone is blocking this. They're not saying who it is. They're saying people are blocking this, but they're not saying who it is. Well, why the hell don't you just say who it is? You know? That's, like, the first thing that I would do, is you're trying to, you know, bring attention to a situation that's not good, and you say, hey, this is what's happening. You know, these are the people that's, you know, trying to do bad and block this. That's, like, the first thing that you fucking do in my mind. So why aren't you doing it? Right? And he was just, you know, he was talking about the reports. Joe was talking about the, you know, the autopsy, you know, where they go and they review the body, you know, to see what the cause of death was. And there's a whole bunch of, like, conflicting statements with, you know, some people believing that he killed himself, other people saying that it was, like, strangulation, which he couldn't do. So that means, like, someone else killed him. And unfortunately, the water's just so muddy that there's probably never, like, you know, going to be any kind of victory for these victims, unfortunately. These people probably aren't going to go to jail. It's just the sad thing about it. And I don't really know, like, what to even do about that. That's just, like, such a horrible problem, right? Like, these people that have done all these horrible things and they're not going to jail. And if you can't convict them, well, then at least, like, bring light to who was at the island, right? You say, these are the people that were on the islands from this date to this date. These are the people that were at these parties, you know, because there's all this talk about, like, you know, the Jeffrey Epstein parties and how, like, you know, they would bring in people that were, you know, pretty high, pretty prominent in the world, and then they would, you know, show them these girls, give them drugs, and then videotape them with underage girls, and then they would, like, basically blackmail them, is what the whole thing was with Jeffrey Epstein, as far as I know. It's like the same thing with P. Diddy. But you're telling me that, like, you can't convict any of these fucking people? Like, just give us a goddamn name of, like, who did this shit. Because you got to think about it. Like, I'm pretty sure in most states, if you're, like, what is it called? Like a sexual assaulter, or, like, if you were a predator, like a sexual predator or something like that, then you like, basically have to go and, like, you know, inform your neighbors of all this stuff, right? Like, that's basically how that goes, if I'm not fucking mistaken, right? I don't want to sound crazy, but I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. So, like, if your goal is to protect the public, right? You want to protect the people, then fucking just put out who was there at least, so we know, right? I mean, that's not an absurd thing to be asking for, in my opinion. But, you know, it's going to be the whole thing with, like, the JFK files, because the whole reason that this hasn't been forgotten yet is because of the internet. Whereas if this was the same time frame as, like, when John F. Kennedy died, like, this shit would have been way more live streamed, at least, like, the what do I want to say, the like, the conspiracy theories and stuff, right? Because the whole reason that there's conspiracy theories is because the government's not trustworthy. That's just how it is. Because if the government was trustworthy, then we wouldn't be having all this, like, big discussion about all this Jeffrey Epstein and P. Diddy stuff, right? Because, like, back in the day, there was a lot more trust in the government, and everyone watched the news or listened to shortwave radio and all that stuff, right? They read the newspaper and they believed everything they saw because they were under the belief that the government was trustworthy. And in reality, they probably weren't back then. To be honest, they were probably still doing horrible things back then, just like now. So, you know, over the years, this has gotten worse and worse with the internet, or better and better, depending on how you look at it. And the government, the people's trust in the government has gone down drastically. And hopefully there's going to be, you know, something that happens to these people that do all these horrible things, but, you know, with the way it's looking right now, it doesn't seem like it's going to be. It seems like they're just trying to, like, hold it off until, like, something, the next big thing comes up, right? Like, there's a war, or there's a fucking horrible natural disaster or whatever the hell, right? And then like it's just gonna be like, okay, we'll just forget about it, you know, because we're politicians and we don't really give a fuck about anything, and that's just how it is, right? Because like you saw all this stuff with when Trump was running for office, that, you know, he was gonna release the Kennedy files, and, you know, the Jeffrey Epstein list was going to come out, and they've talked about the Jeffrey Epstein list coming out before, and then nothing fucking happened. It's like the boy who cried wolf, right? He was like, oh, we're going to do all these things, and like nothing fucking happened. What happened to all those things that were supposed to happen that are actually important, right? It's just so maddening to see all of this, and it's just very frustrating, right? Because you want there to be a resolution to all this stuff, because if these people have been horrible people all their lives and they've been doing the shit to all these people, do you think they stopped when Jeffrey Epstein got arrested? Do you think they're like, oh, well, we can't take advantage of people sexually, we can't take advantage of minors? No, they went to someone else and they did it there, right? They're still fucking doing it. And it's like, we need to do something about these people, right? It's just so maddening, and I hope something happens, but if I'm being honest, I don't really think anything's gonna happen. You know, it's the whole thing of like, you know, people are like, oh, something's gonna happen in the news or whatever, right? They always talk about it. They're always bitching and complaining about it in politics, and then nothing ever happens. And then like we just move on to the next thing, right? Like the Las Vegas shooter, right? Like, y'all remember that? There was a guy in a hotel supposedly when this concert was going on, and he had all M4s and stuff in this hotel room, and they breached his room and they killed him, right? And his brother came out and said that it didn't make any sense. And then a little bit later, his brother was found with like terabytes of child porn on this old computer that he had, and he went to jail for the rest of his life. Like, does that make sense to anyone? Like, at fucking all? That's just like the most craziest shit in the world. So you have this super uncommon thing, right? Where this guy, let's just say that this actually happened, right? Like, this guy went into this hotel room and he's just shot up a bunch of people at this concert through his hotel window. The FBI, they come in, they fucking kill him in his hotel room, and then his brother comes out saying how it doesn't make any sense why all this happened. And then his brother goes to jail for the rest of his life because he had child porn on this old computer that he had stored. Like, what the fuck are the odds of that? If you've been alive for a while, you've come to the conclusion that true coincidences are rare. When a true coincidence happens, it's severely rare, especially something like that. It's the same thing with Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was in this wild position where he had all these dirt on these insane people, right? The royal family, the fucking Clintons, the Bushes, all of these people that were friends with him, Bill Gates, that like came and visited him, right? It's not like this is a secret. He goes to jail. Right before he goes to court, he kills himself. And then his like right hand man, I can't remember what her name was, starts with a P, but she goes to jail, right, over these child trafficking charges. And if you have these charges on this person, then this is like, if you have these charges and they get convicted, that's proof that this person actually did that and was doing this. So then if you have that, then you also have the other side of, you know exactly who the fuck these people are that they were trafficking children to. So why the fuck haven't you done anything about it, you stupid pieces of shit? And it's just, oh my god, it drives me up a wall, man. It drives me up a wall. But yeah, I know this was like a horrible topic to talk about, but I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And as always, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful night.